back to the channel. This is Ryan Aranda here, My Best Life Paraguay. And today we're going to be looking at a couple of clips here. Well, one Freedom Tunes cartoon, right? And also a clip from TYT, the Young Turks, having to do with Democrats' lack of decent messaging towards men, but also just in general, the establishment in the United States of America does not understand men's issues or young men's issues in particular. You know, this usually always goes back to economics, right? So it's so insulting that they did this $20 million thing, research study to try to understand our issues. But whatever. So let's first let's take a look at this cartoon here that popped up about a month ago, I guess, from Freedom Tunes. And then we'll get into more serious clip here. So let's just dive into it.
The Republican Party has been very effective at turning men against us. We want your fully honest opinions on how to appeal to your demographic.
All right.
Let's do this.
Sounds good.
All right, so let me go through some of our positions, and you stop me where you feel uncomfortable. A higher minimum wage, healthcare reform, the ball kicking machine, social safety net.
Wait, could you repeat that last one?
Sure, social safety net.
Before that.
Oh, the ball kicking machine.
I don't like the ball kicking machine.
Not a fan.
Yeah,
either.
I don't like that at all.
Oh, the machine we want in your house to kick your balls all the time?
Yes.
No, that can't be it.
I don't know. We were having trouble messaging around that, Diane.
The issue is you haven't seen it demonstrated. Here. Does this look like something you might be interested in?
No.
Yep, I knew it. I knew this would be the case.
Oh, they haven't tried it themselves.
Which is why I've been saying we need to modify our platform to have a more masculine sensibility.
Exactly.
Ta-da! Now you're on board.
Negatory.
Told you.
Oh, okay. What about this one?
No. Yeah, that doesn't appeal to me either.
See, I told you these wouldn't work. They still ooze toxic masculinity. Here are some better ones.
Don't love it.
You want a more revolutionary approach.
Not into that either.
Well, I'm all out of ideas.
You can remove the ball kicking machine from your party platform.
Absolutely not.
No, we can't do that. I'm noticing that you keep deflecting to the ball kicking machine. What's that really about? It's clear performative masculinity makes you feel like you can't support healthcare for all. How do we fix that?
It really is the ball kicking machine. We don't like it.
No, that's not true. Men like it.
All of our research shows it.
I'm not voting for it.
Wait, I've got it. We need to focus on what the Republicans are doing that might hurt men.
Would you vote against the ball kicking machine, even if it meant Republicans would take away your right to do drag?
Yes, I would still vote against the ball kicking machine, even if it meant Republicans banned drag.
That's sickening. You are literally unreachable.
Okay, so what does our $20 million study show?
The machine needs more boots.
You're wrong.
No, you're wrong.
Then what about this news story?
Haven't seen that one. No, I can't refute it.
I win.
No!
Don't get blindsided. Get the blind spot feature with ground.news. Strengthen.
That was hilarious, man. Oh my god, that was hilarious, dude. It's so true, man. It's so true. As funny as that cartoon is, it is so true, man. That's exactly how they treat us, right? They're like, well, if you're not the wokest of the woke and you don't like being kicked in the balls all the time, you know, metaphorically by us, you know, I'm just like, oh my God, dude. It's so true. And there's always this you know, it's always this woke nonsense too. There's always somebody who looks like like this. You know what I mean? It's just like, and then they're just like telling you what a man is supposed to be. You know what I mean? And why am I even covering this? It's because men are moving overseas, right? For obviously economic reasons and also cultural reasons, man. Like, ain't nobody want to deal with this stuff, you know? Even if at one point I did find myself on the left, you know, as a Bernie Sanders leftist, what they were joking about in the beginning, right? Healthcare for all, cool. Let's raise the minimum wage, awesome. Whatever, fair economic policies, cool, all the way, man, all the way. Economic populism to the max, you know. But all this woke shit, man, it's ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. This is a hilarious cartoon, man. I've never seen this channel before, but anyways, go follow them. Um, yeah, and so let's get into the TYT clip now.
Last week, we covered that pretty embarrassing story involving the Democrats deciding to invest $20 million to figure out why the party lost so much support among men in America, especially young men. So the Speaking with American Men, or SAM project, is actually starting to release some of its findings. They have some initial findings, believe it or not. So they got right to work. And their findings happen to be, in my opinion, some of the most obvious things in the world, which really highlights the significance of how out of touch Democrats are with ordinary people, normal people. And this is the party, this used to be the party of the working class. This used to be the party of FDR. Now they can't figure out men, which is amazing. So let's get to the details. So Sam promises investment to study the syntax. That's it. At that point, you already know they're gonna fail. But I'll continue with what this is all about. Language and confront that and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. It recommends buying advertisements and video games, among other things. Above all, we must shift from a moralizing tone, it urges, which is maybe the only thing I've read about this project that I agree with. I think the moralizing tone turns a lot of people off. And so if you're the party of scolders, you're going to drive people away from your party. I think that's just common sense. I don't think you need to spend $20 million to figure that out. Now, let's break down just how bad the Democrats' problem really is, because in last year's presidential election, the gender gap leapt to 13 percentage points nationally, up from 9 percentage points in 2020. Men's support for Kamala Harris dropped by 6 points, winning just 42% of men, the lowest on record in recent elections. Now, Sam's national survey found that just 27% of young men viewed the Democratic Party positively, while 43% of them viewed the Republican Party favorably. That gap became even more pronounced among 18 and 29.
I knew it. I absolutely knew it. And this is where I get mad at TYT too, because they were all like, the young generations are going to be progressive no matter what. Oh my God, they're going to be leftists no matter what, you guys. You know, I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. And it's because, honestly, let's be honest here. Cenk and Anna are out of touch. Cenk, it doesn't look like he's in this video, but Anna's been incredibly out of touch. And it used to annoy the shit out of me when she used to be up there, right? If you guys don't know, she's married to some super Chad, ex professional baseball player, Rico Suave looking dude, right? So she would just go on and off about how absolutely wonderful her relationship is, and give the female perspective about dating guys. And it was nothing new, right? It was always pretty much the go for the top man and just try to get him, right? Which worked for her, right? You know, she had her youth and her beauty and all that. And but she was just so tone deaf when it came to average men, because not every guy is like an ex MLB player, super fucking Chad, Rico Suave motherfucker, you know? So like she used to be so tone deaf about this stuff, right? And then Jank, he used to go off with stories about the 1980s and shit, and like getting girlfriends back then. Yeah, do some of the same principles apply? Sure, but he doesn't get it at all either, and that's why I kept saying is like, yeah, but the thing is they kept saying, but young people go progressive on certain issues, and that's true. But what they didn't account for, especially Jake, what he did not account for is sometimes there doesn't need to be policies tied up into this stuff. Sometimes people can be so socially fatigued of people not giving a f about men or young men, or they're so out of touch, like the Annas over here who live in liberal bubbles and are married to Chads, that, you know, they don't want to hear it from them. So then when they haven't had a date or they can't afford dates in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, they're gonna start going to the people who message to them. It doesn't even always have to be political messaging. It could literally just be like, hey, we understand you. The other side don't, and the other side doesn't. So that's why they're spending $20 million, a slap in the fucking face, man. Really, truly. Like, you could have sat me down for 5 minutes and I could have fucking explained all this shit to you. You could have just tuned into my channel. Or anybody who's a regular human being, who's not a freaking robot in Capitol Hill. You know what I mean? Taking dark money, corporate PAC money. You know, you could have asked anybody, any average man, what are the issues? Mostly economic, but also societal. What are the policies? Okay, we're mostly lean left policy wise, but the thing is, when you either go so woke, when you bring in the woke stuff, and you ignore us, and you so many of them group us into these toxic masculine things, even just for speaking up for other men, even just average men who are looking to have a dignified lifestyle economically and hopefully socially, on an individual level, and maybe, just maybe, find a decent date for once in their goddamn life inside the United States of America or their other Western countries, but they fucking can't. So then that makes them want to go overseas, right? And then their dollar's not worth the goddamn thing. And then these motherfuckers put it in their face like, wow, $20 million just to understand you guys. You know, it's just like, my God, dude. Like, yeah, I'm revved up about this because it's so pathetic. It's so sad, you know? So anyways, let's keep going here.
9-year-olds. Like, people get really mad when I say this, but you either want to know what went wrong or you don't. And if you don't want to know, like if you want to live in like magical thinking land and everything is great and Democrats aren't making any mistake, okay, stop listening right now. Okay.
Yeah, but you and Jank lived in magical thinking land forever. I know you guys saw the light like literally like 1 year ago. But before that, you guys were on the same gravy train too, about like, oh my God, all young people are just going to be progressive for the rest of time. No, right? Like, you know, if young men, the majority of young men could have the ability to have a fruitful future, then yes. If economic policies work for them, if they actually get implemented, if leftists actually win and actually do the things that they're going to say they're going to do, then maybe, right? But I don't know. You know, I saw this coming from fucking 3-4 years back. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's keep going.
Okay, but for those of you who want the truth, Democrats can't stop telling men how much they hate them. That's a problem. Okay, not every man is carrying out toxic masculinity. They're not acting as though, not all of them certainly, are acting as though, you know, they're entitled to sex with any woman they want. Like, these stereotypes that lump all men together and make them out to be bad guys is not healthy, it's not right, and it's not good politics.
Yes, but even you as a reporter, I remember the passport when they got on the Passport Bros, and they said, oh, her and John Idarola, which I love John Idarola, but he was so wrong on this take, and they got a lot of heat for that take around Passport Bros, right? Shit, I should probably even go back and cover that. But anyways, like I get on Passport Bros because I have a really good idea for what certain groups of men are doing abroad, right? But they're looking at it like, oh my God, they're just all a bunch of losers. Every man who goes abroad and looks for a wife is just a loser in the States and trying to take economic advantage of other women around the world. You know, I was like, no, they're not. We're just trying to find peace and prosperity and maybe a more traditional woman who is just more pleasant in general and more beautiful. Let's be honest. But anyways, come on, man. Like they were just as brain dead too. Not even that long ago. So okay, I guess they're seeing the light. But come on, man. Like you know. So anyways, yeah. Let's keep going.
Obviously, so I'm not surprised that men are like, yeah, Democratic Party. I don't know if I like them because the Democratic Party keeps signaling that they don't like men. That's the issue. So, and by the way, let me just put it in the context of women. Obviously, I'm a woman and I love femininity. I love it. I'm like, I wish I was able to be more feminine in my life, but I work in a very masculine field of work, obviously. And I just feel like I have a lot of male energy around me at all times, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But there aren't a lot of opportunities for me to feel as feminine as I want to feel. If the Democratic Party suddenly started talking about how toxic I am because of how much I identify with femininity. In fact, I have a specific example. I remember there was like this super rad lib student that I went to grad school with. His name was Bruce, and he was a good guy, okay? He meant well. But I remember one time I had to go to class after work at TYT and I was wearing heels. And he started chiding me for wearing heels. He's like, you've been brainwashed by the patriarchy. You don't like that. You don't like wearing heels. And I'm like, damn right I like wearing heels. Who the hell are you to tell me I don't like wearing heels? It was just incredibly insulting. So I just, anytime I think about the messaging coming from the Democratic Party and whether or not it's going to be effective, if they're focused on a specific demographic or group of people, I try to turn around and think about how it would make me feel to be the target of that same messaging.
Okay, let's talk about first of all what she's first said about her wanting to step into her femininity, right? Now she's been honest about her husband's situation, right? Well, number one, she went in this field of work, right? So she's going to be a news reporter or whatever for many years, right? And you know, I will say that yeah, she's super type A, right? Which there are women like that all around the world for sure. But I'm telling you, your average like Paraguayan woman, man, they would love for you to have the ability for them to stay at home. I'm just putting that out there. Not every single one, right? There's some incredibly career driven women like Anna, right? But a lot of them. I would say the grand majority of Paraguayan and Latin American, and honestly the rest of the world, right? It's just that we're so kneecapped economically in the U.S. that guys will never, like literally less than 10% of guys will even have the ability to make enough money to even have the option of telling their significant other, "Hey, sweetheart, would you like to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mother?" That's not a option for the rest of the 90% of guys, right? And even her husband, she opened up and she said that well he had an injury if I'm not mistaken, her husband. So that's why his career as a baseball player stopped. I don't know if he was major or minor leagues, whatever. But that stopped. So he ended up getting into the service industry, right? And then I think he ended up doing like DoorDash or something like that later, right? So he struggled hard during the pandemic, right? but I know in LA, you can make a lot of money in the service industry. So nothing against that. That's actually one of the best places you want to actually work in the service industry. I'm not taking away from that, but I'm saying that like, because he got hit over because of his injury and then over and over again, like I wouldn't be surprised if Anna's the breadwinner, right? And it's nothing against the guy. He literally had injury and then the pandemic. And then after the pandemic, so many lines of work weren't just like available a couple of years later. You had to like scatter around and like fucking put yourself together what job you're gonna do. So like even in her situation, right? Like I bet you if her husband were bringing in millions and millions of dollars, she might go completely independent herself and then just show up on whatever she wants to do. But since she is full time at TYT and she's also doing all these other things, like it's probably even for her, somebody as well known as Anna Kasparian, it's even for her the ability to, like she said, step into her femininity more and play that more traditional role as a woman. Well, what does this always come back to? Mostly always economics. Okay. Anyways, let's keep going.
Okay, so just think about that. Now, it is worth noting that 5% more conservatives than liberals responded to that survey. So the survey result, again, had more conservatives included, so the results might be a little skewed. But now let's talk about how men feel about the Democratic Party. So Sam's first round of research consisted of 30 focus groups and a national media consumption survey. They found that many young men believe that neither party has our back. True. Okay. As one black man from Georgia said in a focus group, participants described the Democratic Party as overly scripted and cautious, while Republicans are seen as confident and unafraid to offend. Now, in an era of people always talking about their sensitivities and always talking about how offended they are, it gives rise to a counterculture where you seek out people who don't give a damn about offending others. So I think that's definitely part of this. Now, Elise Hogue, who's the co-founder of SAM, stated, Democrats are seen as weak, whereas Republicans are seen as strong. Young men also spoke of being invisible to the Democratic coalition. And so you've got this weak problem, and then you've got this, I don't think they care about me problem. And I think the combination is kind of a killer. Elise, this is why they pay you the big bucks, girl. You get it. Now, in the focus groups, the young men stated that they felt stressed. I mean, I can totally relate to that as a woman, but certainly in a culture where traditionally speaking, men have been thought of as like the breadwinners or whatever, I can understand in this economic situation that we're all dealing with, there's a lot of stress. They feel ashamed and confused about how to be a man. Maybe because they keep getting like slapped around when they just want to be themselves, right? So they vented about conflicting cultural messages of masculinity that put them in a no-win situation around the meaning of a man, according to the SAM Project memo. Okay, so other issues included feeling isolated after the COVID lockdowns, which makes sense. By the way, the COVID lockdowns, I mean, we're still obviously experiencing the downsides of that and the repercussions, the consequences of that. So many community groups and ways in which people would connect with one another in person basically got shut down and they never came back. And so everyone needs a sense of community, right? I remember when my mom wasn't in the hospital and I was able to go to dance class. Going to those dance classes and seeing the same people all the time and feeling closer to them with each passing class that I took made me feel a sense of community. It made me happier. And when those things are kind of taken away from you because of forced lockdowns or whatever other reason, yeah, it's gonna cause feelings of loneliness. It's gonna cause other issues. Obviously, for a lot of young men who might have had just graduated college and they're entering the job market for the first time, it's a terrible situation to find yourself in when you graduate and there is no job market because there's nationwide shutdowns of businesses. So And they're also upset about how they're unable to afford traditional economic milestones like buying a house or paying for their kids' college.
Told you, always comes back to economics. Always. That's why you don't even start families in the US. I mean, you're going to go broke before you even fucking start, you know?
And that is one of the most understandable things in the world, because the whole point of growing older, doing the work, going to school, working hard, whatever, is you're working towards something. You have something to look forward to. And I think at this point, not just men, by the way, I think most Americans are feeling as though it doesn't even matter how hard I work, right? It just feels like those milestones that used to come, I wouldn't say easy, because obviously you have to work hard to get these things, even historically. But there was a path to getting those things. Now it seems like there is no path, and that leads to a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. So when you have the Democrats in power and they're like nickel and diming, they're making a little, like they're tweaking around the edges policy-wise, but it doesn't really change the material conditions American workers are experiencing. Yeah, there's gonna be backlash toward the Democratic Party, especially when someone like Donald Trump comes in, presents himself as someone who's gonna save them, improve the economy, and create a situation in which, they're gonna be golden. They're gonna do really well. They're good.
Yeah, and also, like, if you guys go back to my videos right around the election, I predicted all this stuff, and I anybody who knows anything, or just most young men, knew this was going to happen. Knew Trump was going to get into office. Now, for a little bit, for a couple of weeks, I did believe and side with Michael Moore because he had a great track record on predicting the election. So I was kind of wrong right before, but in my heart of hearts, I knew for months, even years, heading into this that, like, just the culture was shifting, man. The culture was shifting. And again, a lot of this doesn't even come back to politics. A lot of this comes back to what's in your pocket, right? Yes, I understand that's linked to politics. It's how much money do you have in your pocket? And are you dating somebody? Are you? Most young men aren't, right? Hypergamy is at an all-time high, So when you have most women dating somebody, they're dating a lot of the same guys, but most young men are not dating anybody. Well, they're going to look for outlets, right? And whether they're political or cultural, even though it's cultural, can affect political, right? So they got to get it together, man. Otherwise, I don't know, So anyways, let's keep going.
Going to be able to buy that house. They're going to be able to invest money in the stock market. Now, obviously, Trump has been losing some support, especially among independent voters and Latino voters who opted to support him because of his economic messaging. Because guess what? He hasn't delivered. It's just the truth. So now let's move on to some of the other findings here. John Della Volpe, another co-founder of SAM, and he's also a pollster who specializes in Gen Z, stated the degree to which those economic concerns are also impacting how they think about themselves and quote unquote success of being a man and living up to their own expectations or the expectations of their family or society. There's another layer of economic anxiety. This is my favorite part. That I don't think I fully saw until now. You're a pollster? What kind of polls were you doing? You didn't realize that there is widespread economic frustration among pretty much everyone, but certainly among young men. I don't know if you're doing your job right, if you just realize that. But anyway, the men in the focus group also spoke about how politicians, especially Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, made them feel. So vibes matter, okay? I think the last election cycle was really a vibe-based election. And an Asian American professional described Democrats as embracing the fluid masculinity of being like empathetic and sensitive, while Republicans are more like the traditional masculinity of a provider, strong, and the machismo type. I don't know if I would have used the word machismo. Anyway, but continuing. Another Latino man from Las Vegas said, that during the 2024 campaign, Harris focused on, oh, I got Beyonce on stage with me. Oh, I got Lady Gaga on stage. And it just kind of felt like, what does that have to do with me? I'm trying to move up in life. That is shocking, actually. It is.
Hell yeah, it's insulting as hell too. Like it's just so insulting, man. And I had my ex in America was so damn woke, dude. You know what she used to say when I used to listen to male remixes of women's music, like like Luke Combs' song, even like that. His most famous song that he remixed from an African American woman from back in the day, right? She used to say, if you don't listen to the female versions, then you're toxically masculine, and you don't value female artists' art. It's like, no, that's not it at all. I'm just I sing like a man, so I'll listen to men's voices, and also it's more relatable. You know what I mean? So then in turn, I can actually sing the song later. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can do remixes off of female lyrics as well, which I've done, whatever. But like, there's the shaming and the wokeness, man. It gets annoying as hell, dude. It gets so annoying, man. You know what I mean? So, my God, dude. Yeah, they're just so brain dead, dude. The Democratic Party, and both parties, honestly, in general. But this constant shaming and let's go back to what the last dude said. Yeah. What does Lady Gaga and Beyonce have to do with me? Yeah, dude. That's another part of American brain rot too. Like my ex was like, "Oh my God, do you know that Justin Bieber? And did you know that? Oh my God, we have to feel bad for him." I'm like, why? He has multi millions of dollars. Me and you are struggling. Yeah, but oh my God, but people in the world would think we're rich too. It's like, yeah, no, we're still struggling. I don't give a fuck. And then also, she used to be like, oh my God, Taylor Swift got so screwed. Oh my God, instead of making multi-millions of dollars, she's making a little bit less because they screwed her. I'm like, pretty much every artist has gotten screwed, right? She's just the biggest, blondest voice about it. So she did another album so that she can own it. And oh my God, she's just a little bit less of a multimillionaire than before. Let's feel all bad. It's like, why do we care about these people? I don't give a F about Lady Gaga. I don't give a F about Beyonce. They're queen status. I don't give a fuck about oligarchs. I don't care about these rich people, man. Like, they can go fuck off, dude. Like, they made it a long time ago. Back when we were like fucking still kids, Like, damn, dude, I don't care, dude. And so like when they like this is what they try to use to relate to us. It's like, yeah, I don't care, dude. Like go F off with this stuff, So anyways, yeah, let's keep going. I totally agree with this guy.
Do with me. I'm trying to move up in life. That is shocking, actually. It is shocking to me that men weren't seduced by the lyrical talent of Beyonce. How did that not work? It's weird. It's crazy. Look, overall, I'm happy that the Democratic Party at least wants to figure out what they're getting wrong. But in the process of doing so, they're kind of showing us how out of touch they've been and how much work they have to do. Same guy says, Trump's over here like, if you're able to get a surplus in our budget, then we're going to have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. It's going to take a while to get to that point, but at least he's saying the things that, oh, this is what I'm going to do, the Latino man added. Remember when you guys got mad at me when I kept mentioning how Trump repeating that he's going to do no tax on tips was like effective political messaging and it's going to work? It worked. Okay, it worked. I don't say these things because I'm trying to kiss Trump's ass. I say these things because my job is to do analysis.
And he leaned into economic populism, what you're supposed to do.
And I see things pretty clearly. The last election cycle, I saw things real clearly, which is why election night, I wasn't panicking. I didn't freak out because I saw that iceberg coming. The question is, why didn't the Democrats see that iceberg coming? And will they see it in the future? Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see.
Every time you ring the bell.
Yeah, you know, the Democrats, let's go back to this photo. This is hilarious. The ball kicking machine. This is hilarious, dude. This is so true. This skit that we first saw is so true, man. The ball kicking machine. That is hilarious, dude. Anyways, yeah, man. No, I mean, it's the reason I'm so worked up about this is because all this ties in together. Why are guys traveling at the rate they are? Will it have implications on your home country? You know what like I don't know, man. Being in the US feels like you're constantly shamed no matter where you stand politically. There's you know, relationships aren't doing very well for most people, especially guys, especially men. You know, these cultural factors, these big voices in culture, like the Andrew Tates and stuff, can shift men's ideologies, which affects politics as well. Right now, the Young Turks, I hope that they learn their lesson, because for so damn long, Cenk, my man, I met Cenk. He's a great guy, but Anna, you're awesome for this take. This is a great take, but you were out of touch too. Not even that long ago, when it came to men moving abroad, you completely shamed them along with John. You were on the same gravy train as Cenk about young men will just stay progressive forever. I was like, no, they're not. You better stop saying that, because you're starting to become part of the problem here, you know? And so now they have to backtrack it, like after the major election happened. So, you know, it's just, and this is not even a video about this team or that team. It's just in general, American politicians just don't get it. And I don't see them trying to improve our lives materially in any certain sort of fashion anytime soon. You know what I mean? And I guess the last things I'll say are just like, man, good luck out there, young guys. For real. Another thing on top of this is the boomers have so fucking little empathy for us. They're just like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, kid. The fuck is the matter with you? Go out there and build some goddamn character, kid. You know, get out there and get it out the mud, kid. What the fuck is the matter with you? Just do what we did. You know what I mean? I was like, my God, dude. You know, that kind of shaming too, generational shaming, on top of already being from a fucking Western society who doesn't care about men. Well, that's the ultimate storm, dude. Really, truly. And some guys will see the light and try to get residency overseas, try to do anything humanly possible to live overseas. Maybe even find a partner, a wife overseas, you know. But I think far too many are just gonna keep on TikTok and just accept their doom and their fate, right? But anyways, that's all I got to say. This all travels back in the travel space, man. Why men are moving abroad. I've talked about this in some of my day one videos, and I'll never stop talking about this because, you know, in our most crucial years, especially as millennials, right? In our most crucial years, we had do-nothing politicians, the Joe Bidens, right? That the older generations are going to be like, he's trying his best. I'm like, no, the fuck he's not. You know what I mean? And so like we had him, and then before that we had Trump, which in my honest opinion was destructive, and now he's destructive again. So for like this 12 fucking year period as the millennials, we had dipshit, do nothing, and a dipshit. A senile do nothing, and then a dipshit again. So it's just like, my God, dude. Yeah, I know I'm offending some people by having that truthful take on Trump, but I'm no fan of Trump, man. And I'm no fan of Biden. I'm no fan of most of these people. Like, you know what I mean? So, anyways, man, what's the point of this? Get your goddamn passport. I know I've sworn quite a bit in this video, but I'm passionate about this, man. Because looking back home, Looking back home in the States, you know, when I say that, ain't nobody coming to save you. These people, they spent $20 million when they could have just had a simple conversation, right? Think of all the other things they could have used that 20 million for. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm out of here, you guys. Much love. This is Ryan Aranda. Subscribe to the channel. I do consultations around Paraguay and moving to Paraguay and all that good stuff. So keep hitting me up if you like, if you made it this far in the video. Otherwise, I'm out of here. Take care of yourselves, you guys, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.